recorded live with little or no editing. It's Defense Up. I'm Run 7. How you doing? Today, we're going to be talking about Blue 5 Fortifier Gamma teams and how we're starting to look at what's at the top of Crucible and where you're at in your rankings. Now, Jwade is operating at Plat 3. They're 27 million TCP, but they are starting to prepare to move up because they want to get serious with Crucible. So they're using what all the big kids are playing with at the top, and we'll see that as we move through. Team number 1, by the way, we had BeniWestSide and Pathfinder Gaming in my ear, plus chat. If you want to be a part of those conversations, you can find me Monday through Thursday currently in the mornings doing these, and you can be part of the behind-the-scenes conversation. Otherwise, you can only watch my stream recycles, which I cut that part out. It's just for the special kids on Twitch. Okay. So team number 1 is Infinity Watch, right? And it's a totally vanilla setup. All strikers and skirmisher. This one has the damage potential because of the striker skirmisher combo. We're not really paying much attention to portable shield device. Yes, they're strikers, so they get a little bit of barrier, and that's useful. Some people were talking about using Fortifier on Nebula. I was one of them, and I've been talked out of this idea. It appears that this is a bad trade-off. You're going to net less when you switch Nebula to a Fortifier, and then you'd want to switch other people to other things, like you'd want Adam Warlock as a skirmisher, which isn't a terrible idea anyways. Philovel as a raider, Moondragon as a healer, etc., etc. But you're spending a bunch in ions to change those, even if you only go to blue 3, and your value just isn't there. So this is where it's at. This is a great build, good composition here. Like I said, you could still turn Adam Warlock into a skirmisher to make sure that ability block lands, but it's fine as it is. I'm giving him an A for this team. If you don't have Infinity Watch built, another good team for this is an Underworld composition of some sort. That team does have some strikers and fortifiers naturally on it and can make pretty decent use of the portable shield device. All right, team number 2 is where things start getting a little weird. Now, Juicy tells me that Red Hulk is playing with Unlimited X-Men at the top of Crucible. Now, the way you beat this team, and I'm going to give it right out there, is you use that Walking Hate composition, but you drop Shang-Chi for Emma. That's Dormammu, Emma, Nick Fury, who you use his special on turn 1, and then Kestrel in there. And I think I'm forgetting somebody else because there's like 5 pieces to it. Sam. So you go in there with that and you play it a little bit differently, basicing on Gambit and doing the usual things, but it still works so long as you put Emma in there. There's some RNG to it because of Red Hulk doing his special, rewinding 2 or 3 people, and you don't know who it's going to be, and it makes it play differently. So user beware. This is a pretty good build. However, like today, I used my Gamma on offense to really crush my opponent, so you wouldn't have Gamma for offense, and you wouldn't have Gamma for what's coming up in room 3. This team is fine, though. We like the ISOs, the placement. That's all good. We're going to go ahead and give this an A as well. And team number 3 is the leftover pieces of Gamma combined with Quicksilver. Now, this is a good kind of leftover build. The Green Gamma is a formidable team, somewhat like the Young Avengers, where you need to be paying attention to it. It's not a guaranteed win or anything, and it's a bit of a slog getting through, but it's totally doable. Now, BeniWestSide says if you really want to take it to the next level, you put Blue 5 Fortifier on all of Green Gamma. That's right, Blue 5 Fortifier, because we all have those Blue 5 ions just sitting in our back pocket waiting to be spent. But I mean, you got to go Blue 5 on the Gamma team anyway if you want your big APOC, and he's saying you should make them all Fortifier because of the drain mechanic you get when you take Fortifier to that level. This team becomes a nightmare. Quicksilver on this version should be a Raider, regardless of what ISOs you have. And if you want to, you could also do Blue 5 Fortifier on Quicksilver, and he's taking so many turns, he's healing himself right back up, so it would be a pretty good fit. Now, if you don't want to do Blue 5, I highly suggest you do a Blue 3 healer build, because you can afford the Blue 3 healer ions. When you go into 4s and 5s, it just gets ridiculous. So either Blue 5 Fortifier, and I haven't tested this, but people weren't saying it was crazy. I'm told it's actually pretty cool. So we could try that. As is, these ISOs are not fantastic for a Green Gamma with anybody as a 5th. I like the Red Hulk, the full Gamma team better with the traditional ISO settings if you're going to leave it here. So let's go Blue 3 Healer or Blue 5 Fortifier. Curious to see that one in action. But for me, this one is going to be a B. It's not amazing, but it's what you're going to do if you want to make that Team 2 Unlimited X-Men with Red Hulk. So Team 4 It's room 4. We're not talking about this anymore. It's lame. Team 5 is the A-hold team, as I like to call them. It's Darkhold with Apocalypse. This is an A right off the bat. It's a very formidable team. It takes a lot of big tools. I beat this today very easily and somewhat efficiently by using Tangled, Eternals, and APOC. Now, those are 3 of some of the biggest pieces you can be using in Crucible, but it was how I did it. You can do it in other ways, like a Tangled Undying composition. That sometimes works, but remember, Zim is going to be kind of dialed back a little bit because of the room bonuses and stuff. So it's a very tricky team. User beware if you want to throw APOC in this. We talked about in the last defensive video just using Scarlet Witch, and it's still a pretty formidable team, and that leaves you your APOC to use on offense in case your opponent does something crazy like this. I like this, though. I think it's fantastic, and if you want to go hard on the defense, this is a great team to put here. This team gets an A. And finally, in room 6, we have what is becoming almost as stale as the Wakandans. It's the Rebirth team in 6. Kind of need to use the Rebirth team here. The rules are a little more open-ended, but they're designed for Rebirth is what it is, okay? I like to swap out US Agent for somebody else like a Red Guardian or a Kingpin or whatever. A Zemo in here is a great idea. You could use Green Hulk in here, whatever you want. Switch it up from time to time and see what works best at your level, because I just take Death Seed in here and almost hit auto. It's a pretty simple match. Just got to get rid of Peggy. They revive. It's kind of annoying or whatever, but it's nothing you can't get through. This team, however, this team scales really well. And we are going to be using this team in incursion raids. And so I'm giving you guys the green light to go ahead and build them higher if you want to. However, I am waiting for the incursion rates to come out and get a feel for those, so I know exactly where to stop, because my rule is if it's working, stop building it. Anyway, ISOs and placement on this are fantastic. Sometimes you see Captain America as a healer. I like him as a skirmisher for the extra vulnerable out there. Yeah, it's a good team. This one gets an A also. So Jwade's doing a really good job. We like everything that's out here. We hate room number 4, but that's because that's Scopely's problem, not what Jwade's doing. And this green gamma is something interesting. Tell me in the comments, what do you guys think about blue 5 Fortifier on anybody? We know those are expensive. If you're trying to build for APOC, then you got to be very sparing with those. What do you guys think about that? Is anybody else trying it? I'm curious to know. So remember, guys, don't just have a good game, be good to yourselves and others too, and I'll see you next time. Bye.